Spring is here, the flowers are blooming, and the Spring Simulcast is airing. So it is finally time to get down to business and talk about anime.
The first show I really want to watch is SSSS.Dynazenon. If you don't know, it is the sequel to a series from a few years ago, SSSS Gridman. That was originally inspired by an old 90s tokusatsu show, Gridman, which came out here in the States as Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. It's a nonsense name. We spelled things weird in the 90s, and that's where the SSSS comes from. Yes, cyber starts with S. I don't get it. If you did not see Gridman, it was just sort of a cool deconstruction of classic tokusatsu stuff like Power Rangers and Ultraman, where monsters were attacking the city, but people would forget it, and as you got deeper into the series, you figured out why the monsters were attacking, who was causing it, and just the strange nature of the world the series took place in. But it also had a lot of really cool characters, and so this seems to be that world from a different viewpoint, at least at first. There's not a lot we know about this show yet, but it's Studio Trigger back to make some more awesome stuff. It's gonna have robots that are huge and slamming into each other with giant monsters, and that's the kind of thing I love. You don't see a lot of those classic, like, mecha-style series anymore, and so I'm really hyped.
Well, the first one I wanted to talk about was Odd Taxi, because man, does it have an odd trailer. So it starts out in this world that's made by these cartoon talking animals, and it centers around this walrus taxi driver. And it mostly focuses on the passengers as they do basically some self-healing while riding the taxi. So you think, it's going to be this nice, calm anthology series. But then it switches to these Yakuza members are exchanging cards. Then the walrus is running away from some gangsters and gunfire. Then there's these pools of blood with teeth everywhere. Then it jumps over to this pop idol singing concert. And it's what's actually going on here? And I'm going to find out when it comes out.
So the big show that I'm excited for is To Your Eternity. I've read the manga up to about volume 10 or 11. The whole concept here is life and death and what you do with the journey in between those 2 points. The main character ends up just traveling through time normally, but there's a lot of other people and creatures within this world that will affect their lives, and they will in turn affect those other creatures and people's lives. It's a really overarching timeline. It's very huge, and it's not even done. The manga is still ongoing, but I would highly suggest looking at To Your Eternity and giving it a shot, because like I said, it's much different than A Silent Voice, but it's still really good.
One of the shows I'm really excited about is Burning Kabaddi. This is a classic sports anime, but it's about a sport that you probably haven't heard of. The sport is called Kabaddi. It originates from India, and it's pretty much competitive tag. You have a bunch of players split up into 2 teams standing across each other on a court. The active player has to run over to the other side, tag as many of the opponents as possible, and get back to his side of the field without getting tackled, all in one breath. You have to say Kabaddi, Kabaddi, Kabaddi the whole time you're going over there to prove that you're not breathing. And it's a really weird, interesting sport. I love finding strange niche sports. I remember going down a rabbit hole and actually figuring out how cricket worked and really enjoying it. I think this has potential to be like another Haikyuu kind of thing, where it's just dudes getting to be buddies and trying to be the best at their sport and introducing this sport to other people. So it's really interesting. I'm kind of excited for it.
It's a Netflix jail, but I don't care. I'm here to talk about Godzilla Singular Point. What's really got me interested in this one, besides being a fan of Godzilla, is some of the creatives involved. So it's going to be a mixture of 2D animation to animate the human characters, and that's going to be mainly done by Studio Bones. And then the 3D stuff, which is going to be a lot of the monsters and the monster fights, are going to be animated by Studio Orange, who's one of the best 3D animators in the business. And if you're a fan of Blue Exorcist, that guy is doing all the character designs for the human characters. So you're going to see some wild designs in the show. And in the trailer, you know, you got some classic monsters like Godzilla, but you also get to see Jet Jaguar from that long ago Godzilla movie, and apparently some new monsters in the fray as well. So I'm interested to see what this new chapter in the Godzilla franchise will bring.
I don't know too much about Eden Zero. I know that Happy makes a return. I think it's the same cat, but with being a huge fan of Fairy Tail, I'm excited to see what Hiro Mashima has in store for Eden Zero.
All right, another show I'm pretty excited about is Shaman King. Shaman King actually came out about 20 years ago as an anime. It's originally from a 90s manga that was in Shonen Jump. It was one of the first ones in the American Shonen Jump. And it revolves around Yo Asakura, who is a teenager who is a shaman. He has abilities to communicate with spirits and actually wields them as weapons. And so it's him competing with other shaman to fight evil and eventually maybe become the Shaman King by awakening the Great Spirit and using them for the force of good, ideally. But there's also rivals out there that want to do less nice things with those spirits. But it's a really cool revisitation of a classic shonen manga that a lot of the voice actors from the 2001 series are coming back, which is really interesting. But it's going to have a nice modern polish to it, and with how hot shonen has been lately with stuff like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer, I'm really excited to see what a 2021 take on that sort of style story will look like.
There's actually not a lot of them I'm interested in. It's like a lot of ones that aren't my cup of tea, but I do have two I'm super excited for. First up is Zombieland Saga Revenge. If you don't know, that is the second season of Zombieland Saga. If you haven't seen the first, I highly recommend checking that one out first. So the show basically, it took the concept of idols and it gave it a unique twist of they're all dead. They're all zombies. They all have to live as zombies. This was like a whole project this crazy producer guy is putting on. And if you just like a wholesome anime, you know, one that can make you smile but then also laugh and cheer on the girls, I highly recommend Zombieland Saga.
Did you know that Studio Wit has an anime coming out in the spring? I sure didn't until a couple days ago when I saw that they were in fact making this anime called, I believe it's pronounced Vivi. It's V-I-V-Y. It's set in a super advanced amusement park, and the main character is one of the robot singers, and she's visited by this other AI that's 100 years from the future, and together they're supposed to stop this 100-year war between the AI and humans.
The other show that I am looking forward to, which kind of surprises me because I'd never intended to really watch the first season in the first place, is Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun. And that's because I kind of just watched it on a whim. I was looking for something to just kill some time one night, and it didn't really capture my attention because it's a human boy that goes to a school that's in the demon world, and he can't let everybody know he's a human because, surprise, surprise, they eat humans. And the setup is a little quirky. There's some very odd characters that are very extreme. It's a fun little show. Like, there's nothing way outstanding about it. There's nothing that's really bad about it. I just really enjoyed it, and I would just pick up a couple episodes every so often, so it's pretty much episodic, but it still has an overall arching theme. And near the end of season 1, there was some what's going on with Irma questions. He apparently seems to be getting a split personality, or something is happening, I'm not sure. So I hope that that is picked up and they continue on with their school antics, maybe get a couple more cast members in, and I'm just gonna enjoy it like I did the first time. Just pick up a couple episodes here and there and enjoy until the end, or season 3, one of those two.
The other anime I'm excited for is called Shadow's House. This one is like a mystery, similar to like Toilet Bound Hanako-kun.
It's set in a mansion where the aristocratic leaders are these shadow creatures that look human, and they build these quote-unquote living dolls to serve them.
This one caught my eye because I liked the main character, and I also like the concept. The main character is pretty cute. She's a little doll in Lolita fashion, and I'm like, man, I'm sold already.
What really drives to me is how mysterious it all is. Like, where did these shadows come from? Were humans before the shadows came? And why are they in an aristocratic mansion of all things?
And I can just tell that this one is definitely going to be like an interesting ride.
Another weird pull from the 2000s that I'm excited to see is The World Ends With You. This is an anime that is based off a cult classic Nintendo DS game put out by Square by the designers of Kingdom Hearts. And it revolves around a kid named Neku Sakuraba. He's dead. He doesn't know how, but he's ended up in Shibuya. And he's been wrapped up in this thing called the Reaper's game, where you battle against other spirits for a week, and whoever ends up on top gets to either come back to life or ascend to a higher level of being. And Neku is trying to determine what caused him to end up dead, and what are the powers behind the Reaper's game, and he meets other spirits, maybe is a good word for them. But it has a lot of style. I believe the characters have a lot of that sort of the Tetsuya Nomura sort of look to them, where there's just like big shoes and extra zippers and flaps on their clothes everywhere, like that look that you see in Final Fantasy X and Kingdom Hearts. But they modernized it because back then they were getting all their orders via flip phones, and that would look really silly nowadays. I'm excited to see how that translates to a more modern telling. And it's just a really cool classic story. You can get it now on Switch or on iPad. You should check out the game, but definitely check out the show too. I think it's going to be really awesome.
I like robots, so I'm going to check out 86, which is in the same tradition as like Mobile Suit Gundam or Votoms, those real robot shows. And it centers around 2 orange states. And one of these countries uses what is supposed to be AI to pilot the robots. But what's actually happening is that they took outcasts from their society that were ostracized before the war and forced them to pilot those mechas. It really dives into a lot of political intrigue and morality, just the kind of stuff I enjoy from real robot shows like this. So hopefully it's able to meet its potentially deep source material.
One of the current shows that I'm watching this winter 2021 season is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 2. And it is getting really good. It's going down the path I kind of foresaw, and it's getting a little bit dark. So one of the shows that I'm looking forward to this spring is the Slime Diaries, because it's just laid back what happens in Tempest, and it's apparently just the daily life of the people who inhabit the city. And Rimuru is there, everybody else that I'm blanking on all their names. It's just a daily life, and it looks like it'll be really cute and fun and probably a little bit lighter than the current season. So those are the top 3 that I'm looking forward to, but those aren't just the only shows that I hopefully will be able to partake in. 86 looks really good. Also, Fruits Basket, the final season, that is coming. We've got more of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime with season 2 continuing on. And of course, we've got So I'm a Spider, So What? And she's just adorable. We need more cute spiders in our lives.
My Hero Academia is finally coming back with its 5th season. I know that I've been really excited about it, and I know that the fan base has been really excited about this upcoming arc because a lot of things is going to be happening with season 4 wrapping up and leaving a good cliffhanger, you know, tying up some storylines, combining both slice of life and like some hardcore action. I honestly cannot wait for season 5 and just what is gonna be happening there. Whew.
All right, and another good sports anime that I'm excited for is Farewell My Dear Kramer. It revolves around a girl named Nozomi Onda, and she played soccer in her middle school years but could not play on a girls' team. They forced her to be on the boys' team and be on the bench. But now that she's graduated to high school, she can actually join a women's soccer team. And so it revolves around her building her squad up and going forth and trying to be the best. Classic sports anime, but it focuses on women and not in a gross exploitative way. I think it's a really awesome story to tell, and I'm excited to see how it shows up in anime. Yeah, I know, weather's gonna be getting nice. I'm gonna stay in and keep watching stuff. I can have the window open so I can at least get some of that seasonal stuff and feel good about it.
We're all gonna get those TV bug eyes going on.
Leave a like, subscribe, ring that little bell to be notified when our next video is going to be up. If you have some that you're excited about but we missed, let us know in the comments section down below.
We love hearing from you guys and want to know what you're excited for this season. So please, hang out with us this spring. There's going to be a lot of good stuff to watch.
Thanks for watching. See you guys.